Well, guess who's back and better than ever? Not me, because I just finished watching 2024's Netflix live adaptation, live reimagining, question mark, of Avatar: The Last Airbender, and I mean, I have some thoughts. But y'all, I could be here sitting and giving a like summary of the 8 1-hour episodes, but someone already has done that on the Wikipedia page, and I know you can read, so we're not gonna do that.
What up? I'm Jared, I'm 19, and I never fucking learned how to read.
So instead, I think the best way of giving a full-rounded, full comprehensive common core assessment of what I saw is through a tier list. With this tier list, we can go through every single important categories of the show and the important categories that we should be assessing the show on. Some of these will include the more traditional categories like acting, writing, costume choices, and yes, we will be backing up all of our claims with primary sources. Don't get it twisted. But I think some of these categories that we should be talking about, and frankly, traditional reviews always dismiss, are some of the more nuanced parts of shows that really get the fan base going. Hint, hint, they may include some of the, lip smacking scene. And lastly, disclaimer, I have not watched the original cartoon like in over a decade. But before you come after me and say that, okay, are you a real Amazonian? No, I did this purposefully, okay? Because I did not want to, come into it and watch the Netflix with the Venn diagram, compare and contrast, and expect what I was expecting to see, because that's not a good look, okay? The only thing I do remember from the original watching like over 10 years ago was how much I shipped Zutara, so keep that in mind. But with all of this said, let's get to the actual tier list. First off, we got to see how we're actually ranking these categories. From bottom to top, we got Grenade. And this is a reference to Ariana Grande performs Grenade at the premiere event in Orlando at Disney World. If you haven't seen this clip, let me just show it here. Just a little snippet. Jump in front of a train fire. So with that said, if I'm putting something in this category tier, it's basically giving Frankie's face here. Above that, we have Angela Bassett. If I'm putting something in this category, it basically means, I see the tensions. It comes from a right place, but my reactions to seeing what is on the screen is basically the live audience's reactions being called out one by one for a full 3 minutes by Ariana DeBose. Anna girl, you were great and blonde. Danielle D, you broke my heart. Then we have It's Morbin Time. Although you might think, okay, Morbius, it got snubbed from its well-deserved Oscar win. The reason why I'm putting it above Angela Bassett Did the Thing is because it basically brought the internet community together to talk about this movie, so much so that Disney actually re-released it in theaters. So it didn't make a lot of money. But bringing a group of people, especially people who are chronically online, to the same consensus is like a feat on its own. And above that, we got Speak Valentina. Things in this category are an ally and they are allowed to speak.
I just want to say I'm part of the LGBTQ community, and this is my best friend, Valentina. She's an ally. Talk, Valentina. Ally.
And finally, the creme de la creme would be put into canonized fanon, because if something is so good in the show that there's a dedicated tag on AO3 and it gets so much traction that the original creators of the show actually takes this idea and puts it into show and makes it reality, something is happening. Something is cooking. For example, these include the Dark Star X Charmcaster being a thing in the Ben 10 fandom. In one episode, they actually made them a couple, and it basically started off with a bunch of really cute deviant art. And another real instance of this is BB Ray being the official ship name for Beast Boy and Raven. And this happened with a couple episodes being called BB Ray in Teen Titans Go. So, we love when things come together. Also, I will probably be talking about both of these fandoms in a future video. So, subscribe if you want to hear more about that and tell me if you're actually interested in that. I probably will do so anyway, but, Also, if you want to see a list of other, ascended fanon, because that's, the name of it, you can see this here. Okay, now we got that all sorted. Let's start ranking. First off, we have the acting. Y'all already seen the like discourse about this online, and it is pretty ugly. But to me, because of the big cast, we got some like Golden Raspberry contenders, but we also got some, Naperville Independent Film nominations for Best Supporting Role in a High Budget Streaming Service Show. And what I mean by that is that there still isn't any, Oscar level performances in the series. Before you go off of me in the comments, like, take your little fingies off the keyboard and put them in your lap, okay? Thank you. The main reason I think the acting is a little off is because of the material the actors were given to work with. When you have a script that says things like this.
He had left Sokka in charge, and he just turned 13. Guess he had to grow up fast. We all did. We're never really ready until we have to be.
Like, we ain't getting any Heath Ledger in Dark Knight Rises. But I will give credit where credit is due, because Dallas Liu, who plays Zuko, was out acting a lot of his, scene partners. Like, for example, like some scenes, they ate.
Your notebook may have been useful in collecting your thoughts, but your unceasing effort is what led you to the Avatar.
He ran! The ultimate warrior! He's a coward!
I don't know about that, but it's clear that this Avatar is not what you nor anyone else would have expected.
No, but on the other side of the spectrum, we got some scenes like this.
My military, that's what you have insulted. Forgive me, Father, I meant no disrespect.
Rise.
No, please, Father.
So I ain't gonna beat Katniss's ass like President Coin did when she saw her acting in Mockingjay Part 1.
People of Panem, we fight!
I ain't that cruel summer. But I will raise my hand and suggest to, the directors of the episode to, potentially give some of these actors, especially, the child actors, some assistance, some, directions. No harm in that. Like, because, like, what helped Emma, Rupert, and Dan in Philosopher's Stone, not Sorcerer's Stone, is more comedy in scenes, more, animated emotions. So instead of scenes looking like this,
I'm not lying to you.
Says the girl who fell for a terrorist.
That's not what happened.
You should have never talked to him.
You don't get to tell me who I can talk to.
And you don't get to just ignore me.
I can if you're being an idiot.
Dad put me in charge.
You're not Dad.
we could have had scenes looking like this. All of that said, I'm putting this in Angela Bassett did the thing, and politely giving some, pretty claps to the cast next time I'm sitting on the red carpet. The next category is the writing. I talked a bit about this in the previous category, but to summarize, because in case you were too distracted thinking about, red carpet and catching your bias's eyes in a crowded room, because at the moment he ain't looking at anyone else. We got bad writing. It's giving too much. As in, like, everything is spelled out in front of you, and you might think, like, okay, great. I've never gone past the first round of my primary school swimming, and has forever scarred me for life. But we want smooth skin, not smooth brain. Y'all can also like watch this video on what makes good writing, because they do a better job explaining it than me. Also, disclaimer, Avatar this season was written before the WGA strike happened. So, we know how important it is to give the writers the room and the space and all the materials and whatever they need to, make their magic. So we aren't gonna attack that, okay? But hopefully with this in mind, season 2 and season 3 should be better. But we were talking about season 1, and with that said, we still gotta put the writing with Ariana's cake dress. Next off, we got the costume and makeup. And okay, y'all, like, it's a toss-up, because on like one hand, we're getting real good imitations of the source material. Everyone loves a good cosplay, but some of these items, they look like a cosplay. Because, okay, like, how can you tell me Aang's little candy corn costume for Tots is still in pristine condition after being frozen in time for 100 years? I know they ain't wearing, Shein and other fast fashion. But, like, why is Grand's fur immaculate? On the makeup side, I'm glad they didn't glam up the cast, but Katara's and Princess Yu's eyebrows have been brushed through, and you cannot make me think otherwise. Also, like, to the editor of this video, let's keep the photo of Princess Yu's face on the screen for just one more second, because, excuse me, to let this pass quality control. This like Allison De Laurentiis wannabe thinking she slayed all over Ken, and again, slay she did not. Y'all can actually like see her real hair peeking out here, and I ain't making this up. Also, side note, spoiler, if being touched by the moon, spoiler, makes your hair all white, silver, gray, question mark, question mark, question mark, shouldn't your eyebrows and eyelashes also be turning like Calpus and Yakult? Y'all could have, like avoided this problem and gotten some like albinism representation on TV, but I wasn't consulted, and there might be a reason why this specific actor was chosen. Also, now thinking about it, maybe I should have put this in a separate category because we also need to talk about like the facial hair. I'm like 99% certain this ain't real because it looks like upside down troll. For this one, I don't know exactly why it looks whack to me, but like Uncle Iroh's actor with similar facial hair here on Instagram looks way more real than what we're seeing. And I think it's because like the black and gray has been like naturally being mixed in versus like this well-groomed stuff here. I don't know, it's just like uncanny valley. So tell me if what I'm thinking is correct. With all of that said, I'm gonna give the costume and makeup its Morbin time because they were faithful to the material, but someone should like dirty up the clothes to make them like actually lived in. Unfortunately for the acrylic and nylon strands, it's going straight into gave you all I had and you tossed it in the trash. You did. What we have next is visual effects, and with this reported 15 million USD budget per episode, which is I think equivalent to Ex Machina's budget.
Can't believe you guys came for me. Thank you.
This time we show those flameheads they can't just step all over us. The Firebender.
So Hollywood, less is more. This is how shooting on location looks like versus shooting on green screen. So just like think about that next time, okay? And, I think we can gracefully put this next to the rat hair. And honestly now, like I could go on and talk about like more traditional categories, but I think what's really important to talk about for like the longevity of a show is the ship material. Like fanfiction.net, AO3, Archive of Our Own, and Wattpad have been like single-handedly giving free advertisement to so many shows out there and keeping like the fandom alive. We do need to give credit where credit is due and talk about the ship potential and what we were given with the season 1 of the show, okay? But again, like creators, showrunners, if you like stumbled across my video, thank you. But if you're thinking like, okay, great, fan service, yeah, let's include that everywhere, because if that's gonna give free advertisement and free up budget for on-set location, no more green screen, please. Y'all can't do that, okay? We know when we can see like intentional fan service and it just like doesn't look good. So like you have to like gracefully, like artfully integrate it to every like story beats, characterization, actors' Instagram pages and PR publicity stunts. You gotta think about that, the full picture, okay? Something that can help with this if you are thinking about fan service is using some traditional relationship tactics in there. Like, is there any friends to lovers opportunities you can integrate? Enemies to lovers? Hashtag zutara. Is there any like, mutual pining, forbidden love? that's kind of enemies to lovers, but hashtag zutara again. But is there any, unrequited love going on with, potential relationship, potential pairings? Or do the characters have shared trauma? You can go into the angst route there. Or you can keep it simple and integrate any potential huddle for warmth, share a bed. But let's talk about this version of the avatar. We have potential Katang, which is, the ship name for Katara and Aang. And unfortunately that is Ken pairing. It is kind of cute. Like I see what they're doing here with these like solo scenes, but the actors who play Aang and Katara are 14 and 17 respectively, so that's a no-no. And the actor who plays Zuko is 22, so morally and lawfully that is also a no-no. Maybe things could change with season 2 and season 3 when the actors are older, and that's probably going to be the Zutara route, which makes sense because 17 is closer than 18 than is 14-17. The original Avatar, did some setting up for us because we had enemies to lovers, hashtag Zutara again. The hashtag Zutara fandom is still going strong. But what we do have so far in season 1 is a lot of like Sokka X random girls he meets, including this like very terribly CGI fox with three tails, which apparently wasn't part of the original cartoon. Like I looked it up afterwards. There is literally like zero lead up to any of these relationships though. There is some like looks from the characters that hints that like, you know, maybe something could be happening, but we're not getting any like juicy pap shops happening here. It's more of like, okay, let's follow WikiHow's 10-step guide on like manifesting your crush, falling in love with you when you don't even talk to them. And it like doesn't really help that there's no chemistry or like lead up, because the whole like pining to kissing to like breaking up, it happens in like 5 minutes. Because like the pacing of the show doesn't really help it like progress, but also all these relationships happen basically in 1 hour episode, and you might think like, oh, 1 hour, that's a lot, but the credits of this 1 hour span take like 20 minutes, so it's more like 40 minutes.
Thank you, Sokka,
For what?
for bringing the world to me.
Okay, but the one relationship like pairing the honestly like is Captain Dixit and Uncle Iroh potential in episode 4. It's giving like potential enemies to lovers, like just watch it.
There are many around these parts who'd be very interested to know that the famed Dragon of the West is in their midst. The Fire Nation general who laid siege to Ba Sing Se for 600 days. Someone might be tempted to take matters into their own hands.
Like someone needs to write a fanfic about this right now. And like send it to me, please. Okay? So we're gonna put potential ship into It's Morbin time because, you know, there is potential, but not much at the present moment. Lastly, these categories were just like so iconic that they deserve to be individually ranked. Jet's hair, it's giving like Song Sam-dong in Dream High Season 1. You know, iconic and perfect for its time, but oddly stiff even when he is fighting. You know, I love the wackiness of Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, so we're gonna put this in Speak Valentina. King Bummy and its casting choice. The actor is 40 years old and looks like this, you know, outside of makeup. So if you're like trying to tell me makeup will make him like convincingly look like he's aged 60 years, I don't know about that. Like, I know he has to be ripped, but like, come on.
Kangaroo Island. They practically jump into your mouth.
Also, the voice was kind of whack because like no matter how hard you try a 40-year-old vocal cords, you know, they can't loosen up to like 100-year-old. So grenade for you. Okay, but Ko the Face Stealer, that's going straight into canonized fanon. This is like so goddamn scary. It also like helps that it was always shown in low lighting, and I do sleep with a nightlight. So maybe that's just me being biased, but Weird Mole Wolf always showed in daylight, so grenade for you. Spirit version of the gang, you know, it's giving Star Wars holograms. Okay, side note, but like, do you guys remember like holograms being like the future? Like 10 years ago, these type of videos were like popping up everywhere and everyone was like talking about them. And like I watched these videos so often, and I like would lay in bed daydreaming about like stealing like the Nickelodeon Brain Surge like floor thing they have to like walk on, because like that would be the perfect size to make a projection of a 10 foot by 10 foot 10 foot jellyfish into my room. But I just didn't need it. But yeah, for the spirit world, the show could have done less spelling out to the audience and do something, you know, more representative, like Days of Heaven, where the cinematography looks so ethereal because it was basically shot during golden hour. And yeah, that might have upped the cost and budget, but you know, if you don't do it on CGI and make it look like this, it probably is worth it. Doing something like that would have been great for scenes where Aang is like talking to past avatars and showing the idea that Aang thinks everyone before him are like literal gods and they are like perfect beings. You can also like shift his perspective on them and how he doesn't believe in their isolation tactics by, you know, showing more of a like Pan's Labyrinth type of look. So you can have like that transition. But yeah, again, what makes like Pan's Labyrinth and Days of Heaven look so great is like the non-reliance on CGI. So it's more in time for you. Okay, this opening scene with the Fire Nation, like low-class workers planning to like, you know, Fire Lord Ozai, we're gonna put that in canonized fandom because like this room closet, like this low lighting, it looks legit. This also like hides the off-the-rack wardrobe look they are probably wearing based on previous data we have collected. Again, with the low lighting, it's doing great things. Are we seeing a pattern here? Speaking of Fire Lord Ozai, him ripping off his shirt to fight his son, canonized fanon. It actually like makes me laugh, and I want it to be included in every single Avatar fanfic ever made from now on, guys. Okay, you have to do that. Because like, think about it. Zuko not doing his 100 vertical strokes before fighting. Daddy comes in and rips off his shirt to give him a disappointed face. Talking about his handwriting after doing his like 100 vertical and 100 horizontal stroke is it's not looking great though, okay? Like, it's not illegible, but this is not museum level calligraphy that he should be, you know, striving for if he is Prince. Especially since it actually looks like it was written by like 3 different people with like 3 different pens. If you look at here, it obviously looks like ballpoint, and this one looks like someone using calligraphy brush for the first time. Cherry on top is the like Wiggles fruit salad lines. So, you know, it's more time for the effort. Looking for the unaged waterbending scroll that has already been passed down for generations. Grenade.
My dear Katara, this scroll has been passed down among the waterbenders of our tribe for generations.
And finally, Aang's CGI crying.
My whole life, you were there for me. And I wasn't there for you. Goodbye, Gyatso.
Grenade. Okay, so this is my final tier list for Netflix's season 1 of Avatar: The Last Airbender. You know, with all of this like neatly put into boxes where they belong, as a whole, I'm gonna have to give it 4 Beverly Hills Chihuahuas out of 17 Adam Levine tattoos. Interpret that as you will. Lastly, this is my opinion, and it was all made in good fun. A production that has so many eyes on it and like a loyal fan base is stressful, so I ain't like, you know, here putting out energy, okay? So take this as like, you know, constructive feedback. So, you know, if you want to include this into, you know, season 2, season 3 Netflix, you're happy to do so. Also, like Netflix, if you are watching this, you know, I do have an acting reel and acting resume. So if, you know, you would like me to be in your show, I would love to send that over to you. Just like, you know, contact information is down below. But that's all for now. Thank you so much for getting to this part of the video. I really appreciate it. Subscribe, like, share, comment, etc. blah 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 blah, all that jazz. And you know, see you in the next one.